Hey, it's Michael Saul, but everybody calls me Tiny. This video is at resistance, but our bonds giving us a clue here. This is stock market analysis for the week of September 16th, 2019. If you would like to receive intra-week updates, go to www.attackthemarkets.com, put in your first name, best email address, follow the directions, and you will be on the distribution list. Facebook group is at facebook.com/group/attackthemarkets. If you like what you're hearing on this video, and come on, you know you do, give me a thumbs up, leave a comment so I move up the ranks in YouTube, and to never miss a video when one drops on the channel, click the subscribe button, smash the bell, and you'll be notified when I upload a new video. All right, so the story of the week, I don't know what the story of the week is, but we're going to say it's bonds. So the bonds were the puker of the world last week. They finally rested after this really nice push-up out of this base over the summer, just before the summer, I guess in May, we popped up, we paused again, and then we popped up again. So the bonds puked in their shoes, they puked in the closet. I'm going to sing the song later if you want to stick around and listen to me sing the Puker of the World song, because it's perfectly fitting for bonds here. So I'm looking at the TLT, which is the way I like to do the quick analysis, because I don't really trade bonds, so I just want to see what they're doing. So why are bonds falling? Well, the excuse of the week is that the trade war fears are subsiding. Now if you go back a few weeks ago and watch my video, I talk about this, and it's really wasn't like I'm not the amazing Kreskin here who was predicting this was going to happen, but when something is just full frontal in the news and there's these big gut reactions and big emotional moves, eventually they just start to lose their potency, right? It's like Brexit, right? When Brexit didn't happen the first time, it was, oh my goodness, well, what's going to happen? And the market got hit. And then all of a sudden now it's like nobody even knows what's going on with Brexit, right? I mean, I surely don't. And the reason I don't is because I really don't care. Okay, I don't think it's going to affect anything, and it just loses its potency. It's the same thing with, the trade wars, oh my goodness, oh no, oh look at that, oh yeah, oh, we are going to work something out, oh okay, oh, China's coming to the table, oh, we're coming to the table, oh, look at that. So all the fears of the big recession fears, and oh, look at this, and bonds are screaming, and the inverted yield this, and the inverted yield that, and now look what happens. The bonds are the puker of the world last week. All right, so where can the TLT stop going down? You do have support down here at 134.29, but let's look at the stock market, which is right up. We're using the SPY here, the S&P 500, right up to all-time highs. Kind of got above it intraday a little bit, right? A little poke above, but didn't close above there, and a nice little narrow range candle on Friday. So this is a wind up. Now, could we pull back from here? Absolutely. But we could also coil up like we did here, like we did here, like we did here, I mean, I could just go through all these spots and then try to bust through. Now, if you've watched any of my videos, then you already know that I am not a huge fan of buying just pure breakouts on a big expansion candle kind of move. But when we coil up and we build up the energy, it then allows us to qualify the breakout, to know where we're wrong almost immediately, to set a good stop loss, a solid stop loss that if it hits, we're okay with taking, because that's one of the biggest challenges with stop losses, right? And I'm a little all over the place here, but I just feel like talking about the market, so either fast forward or just deal with it, right? That's the unfortunate detriment of a free video. All right, and it's funny, I had somebody unsubscribe from my list last week, and they said, all you're doing is a market recap. Okay, that's fine too. I don't hold any ill will, and if they want to come back, of course, I'm going to let them come back onto the free list. But I don't know. I get a lot of good emails too. A lot of people telling me, yeah, you really called this, you nailed this. And look, it's good for my ego. I'm not going to lie about it. But all I'm doing here is just trying to help, right? That's all I'm doing here. My theory, and I read a lot of people every weekend, and I go through a lot of articles, way too many people than I probably should, is I try to take what I can for them and make my own, draw my own conclusions based on the evidence that's being presented to me. And that's more than likely what you should be doing also. I don't manage your money, so you can do whatever you want with your money. I don't care. You could shoot it up at the craps table. You can, pay somebody to film a Netflix special for you. I don't care what you do with the money. You can buy cheesesteaks with it. And pretend the guy that owns the cheesesteak place is really an entrepreneur, even though he was left it by his family, right? Like, it's like, you can do whatever you want with your money. All right, so we're up at resistance. We're coiled up. I like to wait for a break here, then put a nice stop that we can identify with some good clarity, right? That's, like I said, the problem with putting stop losses in, you don't know, is this moving average going to hold, or is this moving average? Or wait, it could go down a little more. But, you're probably always going to have a little tinge of regret when you put a stop loss on and it hits. But some people have lots of regrets. So you stop out and you go, oh, I should have held, especially when it continues and goes in the direction that you originally had it, right? But, that's part of trading. And, it's part of trading is managing your risk. Part of trading is using stop losses. And part of trading is regretting that you stopped out every once in a while. But it's better than the alternative, which is you don't stop out. The stock or whatever you're trading, ETF, whatever it is, keeps going down and you take a much bigger hit than you expected to. All right. So if we coil up, we break out. I'm still looking for the 307s as first resistance, and then the 314, like 313.90 something as the next resistance. That's on the SPY. Dow looks similar. Okay, the Russell even decided to wake up a little bit. Still got a while to go until it catches up, but it is coming up to the top of its range, so that's a good sign. Here's the mid caps also doing the same thing. Now, of course, when we get a move like this, when we get a quick move like this, I'm not looking for continuation right away. I would like to see a pause, maybe even a slight pullback, and then a bust through, just to keep that clear. Here's the Nasdaq, which is now a little bit lagging. It's not right up at its all-time highs. I'm just looking at chart lagging. I don't look at percentage lagging as much because I just want to see what it's doing on the chart. So it appears that it's lagging a little bit here. Not too much to get concerned about. Friday was this deeper down day than what we saw with the S&P 500, but it could still kind of coil up and see if it can break through here, see if it can get to whole number 200. So in my opinion, it looks good. The bonds getting hit, a lot of people using the excuse of the bonds rallying for why the market was lagging. But again, it didn't lag that much. It still wound up creeping higher. But now that the bonds have, the trade war talk has subsided, or at least the effect of what the trade war will be has subsided, and now that we're seeing the bonds pull in and the recession fears are waning, then the market can it's an excuse for the market to go down. Here's the semiconductor. Semiconductors popped up to the highs, but again, moves like this, I would rather see a pause before it popped forward, or even a little pullback. But acting really well. Look at KLA Tanker right here. Right, so it is coiling up right below. So this is a bull flag. So we want to see if this can pop up here. Right, let's look at NVIDIA. Okay, so here's NVIDIA, still in a range here, up towards the top of the range. Here's Intel, right up here, the July highs here. Again, not really a clear and present buy signal, but something to definitely watch. Here's the banks up at their highs of the range, not all-time highs, but the highs of the range that we've been forming this year. Here's Bank of America on a push. Here's Citigroup, if it will come up, right? Here's JP Morgan. Yeah, look at this push on JP Morgan. Boom, 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 boom. Again, I don't like chasing this. But after a pause or a pullback, where we can qualify the stop loss, but look, this JP Morgan, this is a nice push off of these August lows here. So I would definitely be watching this for a continuation after a pause or a pullback. How about the broker-dealer? Also same kind of deal. Here's Goldman up towards the highs, the range highs, right? Not the all-time highs, the range highs. Here's Morgan. Let's look at some of the glamour stocks. Amazon, lagging. Now, could it catch up? Sure, but this is not a stock I would be looking at to seek alpha on, right? I would be looking at the stocks that have the push up, look for a pause, pivot and then look to get on board. Here's Apple. Yeah, see, Apple had a nice push. We highlighted this triangle last week. It pushed out of it, so this alone was a nice move. Now let's see if it can turn from here. How about Netflix? Still feeling a little bit of pressure off of Disney. Again, my kids own some Disney stock. I always have to give this disclaimer. Yeah, they don't own enough to pump and dump. You can't pump and dump a stock like Disney anyway. I have no intentions of selling any of the stock. They were gifts from a family friend and their grandfather, so I am not looking to get rid of it, but I always have to disclaim that. But Disney, of course, with streaming and, Netflix is quote-unquote in trouble. It doesn't really look like in trouble, but they're certainly lagging. And here's Disney in a nice little triangle, right? Does that mean it's going to push up? If it does, maybe it'll get to 150. Hey, I'll be happy for my kids. If not, and it dumps out, watch the 200-day moving average on the downside. The Zuck book, again, looks to me like Amazon. Not really one that I want to focus on right now. It doesn't mean these can't wake up. So I'm not saying ignore Facebook, ignore Amazon. Just these aren't the ones that are showing the momentum surge here. Okay, how about Tesla? Yeah, Tesla actually popped up. I don't know what the news is. I can't follow what's going on with them. I really don't like the stock, so I'm not interested. Watch the 200-day as potential resistance if it continues higher. How about Alphabet? Yeah, Alphabet definitely lagging other stocks, but certainly waking up more than like an Amazon is doing here, or a Zuckbook, Facebook, right? That's my nickname for Zuckbook. Okay, very good. Very good. It's very creative. I should be on tour on the comedy stage, right? I'm so creative. Anyway, but you can see Alphabet popping up here. See if it can get to these highs up here in July. And how about Microsoft? Yeah, look at Microsoft here. Microsoft is coiling up again. It's not showing signs of momentum, but it's doing my favorite thing, which is coiling up, getting ready for the next move. And if Microsoft can break out of this, and this is now over a month, it was 6-7 weeks here already. If this can pop up, this can get a quick move if it gets some initiative buying on the breakout, right? You want to see initiative buying here, not reactive selling. If you see that, boom, it could pop up to 150, right? So we already looked at bonds. Let's look at oil. I mean, I really wish oil would become the puker of the world and go down so our gas prices. I'll even sing the song, he's the puker of the road. Shut up, the puker of the... Right? So I would like to see oil come down, test the December 2018 lows. How about gold? Yeah, gold on a pullback as well. Again, the trade fears are subsiding, right? Gold is a flight to safety, so the attitude is, hey, we can take a little more risk here because the trade wars are not as bad, not nearly as bad as we think, which I've been saying for a while, that they're overblown. Again, sorry, I don't want to break my arm patting myself on the back. But anyway, watch the 50-day moving average to see if that comes in as potential support. Here are the miners, which are leading the way lower. See, miners led the way up here. Now they're leading the way lower. This is something to pay attention to here. Okay? If the GDX cannot hold this 26 handle and keep going, I would expect GLD to follow its way down. So let's do the recap. We're at resistance. We paused on Friday. Bonds puked in their shoes and puked in the closet. It must have been a school trip, right? I think a school trip was announced for bonds. So what that means is the recession fears have subsided, and this is due to the trade war not being as bad as it was expected to be or has been talked about being. So let's see if the S&P 500, the rest of the equity ETFs at least, the major equity index ETFs, there we go, if I say it correctly, can bust through here and we can go here. We can keep going here. It's September. We do have Sel Rosh Hashanah, Bar Yom Kippur coming up. So even if we do pop up, we have to watch that seasonal tendency. It's not a law, but it is a pretty strong tendency. So we want to see that. And if that occurs, then I think we'll be ready to try to rally in that fourth quarter. So again, I'm looking way ahead. I don't like looking that way ahead. I'm really a 1 hour at a time kind of guy, but I'm really a 1 day, 1 week at a time kind of guy, and this is what I'm seeing right now. Questions, or if you want all the lyrics to the Puker of the World song, you can write me at attackthemarkets.com or tiny at attackthemarkets.com, and I'll get back to you. Again, don't forget to give a thumbs up, leave a comment so I move up the ranks in YouTube. Don't forget to join the intra-week distribution list if you want intra-week updates, and the Facebook group at facebook.com/groups/attackthemarkets. Have a great trading week. I'll talk to you next week in the video or during the week in the intra-week updates.